Hello all and welcome back to High Ridge Farm with me, the Walrus. We're in our final few days of the winter season and Alex has received the prismatic shard in last episode and he seemed quite pleased with it. And now it's going to be a little bit of a, not saying it's going to be an easy run today, but it's going to be not the most difficult because I have a few things that I do need to achieve, however. I want to try out using this fairy dust because I've never actually used it, which I know is almost a bit ridiculous, but I've never used it before and it's kind of nice seeing it rapidly produce me a lot of money because, of course, rapid speeding, that's a word, isn't it? Sorry, rapidly increasing the ability of my wine making facilities to give me more money is fantastic. I mean, look at this. I've now got some beautifully aged ancient fruit wine with now that it's of really high quality. That's great. Now it's exactly what I need. That's entirely and utterly what I want. And more money, please. Thank you. That's entirely what I'm after. So that's always nice. Of course, one of the other things that I am going to have to pay attention to this part of the season is just in case there's anything else I need to transfer to Ginger Island Farm. Now, thankfully, most of what I need to do with Ginger Island is already kind of taken care of. I've hoed the land, I've prepared it already for all of the new crops to go in. I've fertilized it, I've put the sprinkler systems in, so I've got that going, which is nice. I'm debating what sort of crops I should plant there, and I'm thinking just vast swaths of cauliflower in the beginning of the spring season, which is coming in reasonably soon. And that's kind of a nerve-wracking sort of realization that Year 3 is beginning in only a few short days. Goodness gracious, I failed at English there. Failed at even talking properly. Yes, so only in a few short days will the next season begin, and with it to the new year. And of course, one of the things that I've got to be considerate of is how am I going to make as much money as physically possible, as that is my general main aim. Because I want all of the money, which I know I've said on a number of different videos, I still want all of the money, which I think is perfectly reasonable. Perfectly legitimate, because there is a lot that I can do with the farm, and it's going to be debating, as I mentioned in a previous video, whether I try to use High Ridge Farm itself as a more animal-based farm, and then use the Ginger Island Farm as a more crop-based farm, so arable versus livestock. So it's going to be a little bit of consideration on that part. I've got to try and figure out what's going to be best for High Ridge Farm, and I don't think that's going to be, too much of a problem. I think that's a reasonable thing to try to sort out. Of course, one of the other things I need to figure out is, as well, what other things can I sort out with the farm? Now, I still need to build a lot more of these preserve jars, but I would like to build another shed. Because one of the ideas I had was to build a shed and fill it with planters. So rather than having to worry about it, pretty much just filling it with starfruit and anything that I could just get a good harvest from, fill the planters with the retaining soil so that I don't actually have to worry about watering them at all. I can just go in, harvest, and then reseed. Because, yes, I could put a few plants that are going to give constant results, which would be quite handy, but I would also like to have more production of certain crops, so starfruit. Essentially, I'm thinking that if I can replace the starfruit section of the greenhouse with a agricultural shed, then I'm pretty much well sorted in that regard, because I can convert the shed itself, sorry, the greenhouse entirely, into a purely ancient fruit crop base. But the problem that ancient fruit has is you cannot plant it in a planter, as it requires deeper roots than the planter can allow. But at the same time, Ginger Island is also more land in which I could plant more of the very useful and quite expensive in some regards ancient fruit. And that's another consideration I've got to make, is how would I juggle that? What am I going to do? How am I going to plant? Whatever, I have some ideas. It's just making sure that I can get them to work. I think it's probably the easiest way of putting it. I want to make as much money as possible, as I've said previously, and it's just making sure, how do I go about that? Now, as part of my need to finish the preserve jars, I've come into the caves because I want not only coal, but I also haven't shipped out a radioactive ore yet, and that's something that I do need to do. Now, the radioactive bars and ore are used in a number of different recipes. The question's really going to come from what recipes are actually viably useful. I think a heavy tapper will be quite handy in the grand scheme of things, because if I can plant a selection of trees, I have a selection of trees, but if I can condense that into a smaller selection, and one of them being a mushroom tree, as I now have the mushroom tree seed, that will allow me to essentially make money faster, because I believe the heavy tapper works at 100% speed increase, so it produces at twice the speed. So again, I need half as many of the trees to actually produce the amount of product that I actually want. I think maple syrup is going to be really the one that I'm going to want the most of, because it's useful as a gift. It's not a loved gift, but it is a liked gift. So it's a very quick, easy one, considering I've got quite a stock of it. It does make it quite easy for me to give as a decent amount of gifts quickly. And it's been one that I've used a couple of times already, just to make sure that people are happier with me, essentially. But that's what we need to see, I think. And of course, one of the other things while I'm in here, I'm kind of curious to see whether I can get myself another one of those sprinkler heads, because that was something that I was able to get just out of sheer luck, really, from when I was working through the mines for Mr. Key's challenge. But now that that's been completed, I do now have permanent access to be able to activate the thingy in the bottom of the mines to make it always on hard mode, essentially, which will be useful, because some of the drops that they give are quite handy, and it's nice that I can actually get the end results like from Gil and such, because I have gone through quite a lot of, multitudes of enemies. Now, of course, the vampire ring is going to be one that I really am going to need if I do the challenge, which is to try to get to the bottom of Skull Caverns without, or not the bottom of Skull Caverns, sorry, but get to like floor 100 without eating anything. I know that's a challenge that Mr. Key can set. That has quite a high reward, but it is massively high risk, because, yeah, it's very easy to get yourself knocked out if you're not careful. So by using the vampire's ring, which heals you for a portion of your health every time you kill something, well, that makes life a lot easier. And that's going to be a major consideration for me when it comes to it. Okay, let's quickly move on back through. So we're going to get some little gifts of maple syrup. And essentially, that's why it was in my mind, is because, of course, I know I want to give it as a good gift, because it's just generally a good liked gift. People like it. That's important. Okay. So let's move on through, see if we can get anything vaguely useful here. Well, there you go, Abigail. Drink some maple syrup. I'm sure it'll put your blood sugar level through the roof. Because that's what you need. As I mentioned previously, I'm diabetic, so of course giving people essentially pure liquid sugar is something that I personally wouldn't really want to receive. But at the same time, you know, some people have they make choices. Like a friend of mine decided to send me a video on an Instagram reel that was of a woman asking how many sugars that you have with your Pepsi. I really hope it was satire, because, oh god, that hurt. That hurt in every way. I swear I had a hyperglycemic attack, not hypo, a hyperglycemic attack, just from watching that. It was brutal. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to stash some things away that I don't need. I think what I do want to get is some more seeds for trees, which might sound a bit odd, not really counterintuitive, but I do have a lot of agricultural land that would be quite handy to use as to just plant for trees, really. And that is a major consideration, is actually being able to create a decent quantity of useful such. I think that's probably the easiest way of putting it, is trying to figure out the way that I can create the most useful products, and how am I going to work it. So what would I need, what will I do to get a decent amount of lumber, for example. And that's one of the considerations I have, is what can I do to make sure I have a continual source of the damn stuff. Because, yeah, I'm going to need a lot of it. Oh my goodness, that is a lot of spiders. No, go away. No, just go. Shoo. Oh my goodness, they are tearing through my health. I didn't realise they hit this hard. This is uncomfortable for me to be dealing with. I do not like. No, ow. Ow, ow, ow. Is essentially the short answer to that one. Yeah, this is not a good day. Goodness gracious, there's so many spiders. Why are there so many? Well, I am not fond of this. I'm going to definitely say. I think I'm going to retreat. I'm going to make a very hasty retreat back to the top of the mines and go, you know what? No. I'm not going back in there right now. I've got other things I can do. It's only 6:30. There's plenty of opportunity for me to do other things. Such as collecting all of that iridium out of the smelters. And that's going to be an easy one to do, because, you know, all I have to do is go and tap it and grab it out. But yes, that's going to be a thing. Now, I know I'm going to keep it at the dangerous level in the mines, just for the time being, because it will be handy for me to make as much money, essentially. But I also do want to have more of that iridium, because again, that's really quite useful. Mostly because what I can do with it will allow me to create the fantastically useful and improved, what are they called? The fertilizer. And because you do need that, crazily enough, you need that and then a big old bunch of, oh goodness, sap. And that's kind of important, because it'll allow me to do stuff. So let's see. What next? Well, let's mine my way through all of this for now. Obviously, I want to get a little bit further in the mines, just for clearing and getting some really more useful resources. I want the stone. It's needed because of the challenge that I've now been foolish enough to accept. It shouldn't take too long to get done, but I'm trying to figure out whether it's going to be more viable for me to do this on Ginger Island or here in Pelican Town. Oh goodness, these squids again. Obviously, shockingly enough, it's all on because it's on hard mode. Yeah, of course everything hits hard. But lummy daisy, it's a absolute pain in the posterior, isn't it? Okay. Let's see. What am I going to do next? I guess that's the next question to myself is, what am I going to do and how am I going to do it? Obviously, getting more of the radioactive, I nearly called it iridium ore again there. No, the radioactive ore is going to be, you know, generally handy to grab. It's just trying to figure out if there's anything else that I can grab while I'm out and about, really. Let's see. So, again, we're going to get some more stone from here, because that's really the main reason I'm here, is just for stone. I don't need anything else from here. I mean, the radioactive ore is useful, but it's not actually the primary focus for me being here. Okay. Let's just quickly squelch my way through these enemies. I'm quite... I think the thing that annoys me about the squids is their erratic movement. So... yes, I'm not saying that I enjoy everything being predictable, but it's nice to be able to anticipate a movement before from an enemy. Believe me, I've played enough of the Souls games of learning, like, learn the predictive movements and stuff, and it was the same with, like, even playing World of Warcraft, to be fair. I'm sure somebody's going to skin me alive for making that even comparison. But when it came to, like, the raid bosses, they had certain systems, they had patterns. Once you clocked the pattern, it was quite easy. You just had to be sensible enough to avoid being destroyed during said pattern. But anyway, let's quickly move on through whilst we can. Now, so there's some more resources, more stone. I think that's going to be the big fun part here, is just getting as much stone as possible. Let me think. What do I need to do next? Well, that's going to be the next major question, is once I've cleared through a bit more on here, is there going to be anything else that I can do today, in game terms that is, to make it more useful? I think that's going to be the big quandary. Okay, well, that's some more ore, which is nice. I'll always happily take more radioactive ore, because I can just turn it into radioactive bars, or even leave it as ore and then use it for something else later. And that's, I think, quite a healthy, useful focus. But at the same time, I do kind of worry about mining radioactive ore. And even the description itself kind of gives you a bit of a, I really don't think I should be doing this sort of vibe. Which is kind of amusing, if alarming at the same time. But that's, I guess, no other descriptor for it. It's just this game. It's gonna make you go, okay, what? Welcome to Stardew Valley, where the weird stuff happens, and you're a farmer, but remember, even though there's a war on, you've got to remember, fight those slimes with a sword. Because, hey, I mean, to be fair, the Pokemon universe is just as bizarre, considering the way that essentially it was set post a war of some description, because all the men are missing, and I mean, I know it's one of those like amusing game conspiracy theories that I quite enjoy, because it's very weird and very funny though when you actually look at it and go, "Ooh, that's creepy." Righty, what next? Well, let's see if we can get anything else out of this. Well, it's 1 AM. I should probably head to bed now. It's been a good, very long, profitable Friday, me feels. Because, you know, we've managed to gather a lot of stone. We've gathered all the things that we need. Well, I say the things that we need. It's been a good day in the grand scheme of resources. And I'm also just innately curious to see how much money we're going to get from all of the shenanigans with regards to improving the wine. Since that was an early part of today's game plan, for want of a better phrase, is well, how handy is that going to be? How much money am I going to spin from it? And of course, one of the other things I've got to do is I've got lots of green tea to ship out, which is easy enough, but would prefer more coffee because the coffee does give a speed boost. Whereas, yes, the green tea is very useful in the grand scheme of things, but... Oh, okay, Haley's given birth to a baby girl. So I like that as a during the night randomly this has occurred. It's like, okay, I call shenanigans to the... right, what should we call her? You know what? I've got an idea. I'm going to call her Ray. Just because. And for no other reason than because. It's a silly old thing. Right, so I now have a child. Which, that's a scary concept, isn't it? But anyway. Let's see what else we've got here. So we've got some green tea, which is nice. We'll always be happy with getting more of that, because again, it's valuable stuff. I'm never going to be upset about value. Well, I say valuable. It's valuable-ish. It's not like it's diminutively terrible or anything. It's just... It has its value more so rather than in its export value in its energy boost, and it's a maximum energy boost as well. It's not just a energy restorative, which that's kind of what gives it its big boost, really, for me on this one. And especially when I'm doing lots of work on the farm, like come the beginning of the year, so in a couple of days. That's going to be massive, because being able to comfortably afford the extra energy without having to then eat more food or go and sort that out and, you know, faff, makes it a lot easier. And that's something I'm always keen for, is having more capability of actually getting the farm prepped how I want it to be. Okay, so put that onto the fishing rod because it makes sense to do so. And let's get everything ready then. Okay. Now what else can I do? Well, we've got lots of fruit, shockingly enough, growing here on the trees, which will be a nice, useful reward to myself in some ways. Because I can use that to turn that into wine or as gifts. And considering that, yes, a big swath of that is the very handy joy that is starfruit, that's going to be a lot of wine right there. Thank you very much. And I'm never going to say no to more wine. Okay. What next? That's going to be a big question, isn't it? Okay, so let's head back on over to this part of the farm over here. We've got all these forageable gubbins to grab. So nothing super mad on that one, I don't think. Well, the forageable stuff isn't like super difficult to sort out, I don't feel. Let's see. Okay, so we've got lots of food resources there, ready to go. And, okay, so we've got our bomb, we've got... It's just trying to figure out what am I going to do next. Which probably sounds very silly. But again, I'm trying to be sensible-ish. Which is very difficult for me, as I am a raging idiot. And, yeah. if I can be sensible about all of this, I can then have... Do I want more animals? Do I want more land? I know I can... The reason I want to try and use this farm more so for crops rather than animals is by the fact that I know I can build Junimo huts here. You can't build them on Ginger Island unless there's like a mod or something that allows you to do so, which, you know, it feels like a bit of a cop-out at that point. But yeah, I don't have much in the way of like facility to do stuff like that, so I have to be careful like that. I have got to be able to work my magic in a way, and actually make as much money as possible from the main farm of High Ridge. And it's getting the crops, being that they are a bigger money spinner for me. It's versus like where is a truffle when it comes out of the ground. I mean, that one's like a daily production of like 2 or 3 per pig. So yeah, I could in theory just have a mess of pigs just grabbing away. I mean, it's a feasible option. How viably good it is, very different question, I feel. But I do like having a mixture of different animals. That's maybe a personal preference on that one. But hey ho. One owns idea for what they want to do. And currently, it's making fertilizer out of the random river fish because they don't matter. Well, they don't matter to me right now, at least. So let's see, what can we do? Okay, that's fine. Again, it's going to be a little bit of redistribution of where stuff is going to go in the farm. Because, again, I want to make sure that stuff is laid out vaguely sensibly. And, like, all the crafting areas are going to have to be reorganized, I feel. Because I've got the processing bits. Like, I've got the charcoal kiln. I've got the bone mill and all of those. They're in not a terrible place, but I feel that if they were more organized, it would be better. And that's kind of what I want, is a better organized farm. Because, yeah, why would I not want a well-organized farm? It's very important. Okay. What's next? That's the tough question. What's next? Okay. Well, let's crack open these geodes, please, Clint. I've got some plans, my good man. And plans for days. Admittedly, one of those plans is getting omnigeodes rather than the regular ones, because omnigeodes are what I can trade for those cursed flipping treasure troves, which again are more useful to me as they give me a higher return and a higher return per se, a likelihood of getting the damn golden mask. Now, obviously, as I mentioned in the previous video, the fact that I've not been able to get, yet at least, all the snake vertebrae that I need is something that is troubling me a little bit, because shockingly enough, I really want that. I want all the vertebrae so I can have the snake completed, so I can get a hold of the ostrich egg ostrich egg incubator. I don't know why I tried to fail at combining egg and incubator than an egg-cubator. Either way, I'm an idiot, I think, is the short answer to that one. But, anyway, so we're running around midday at the moment. We've just got some miscellanea that can get flung in here. I wonder if I made another one of those farm computers, if I put it on Ginger Island, if that would give me the same sort of useful nature that actually having the farm computer here on High Ridge does, because they are quite handy, actually, to be fair. Having them isn't a bad thing. Maybe I could see if I can get some extra use out of it, really. Might have to give it a go. And really, it's not like it's particularly hard to get hold of those dwarf gadgets, really. Well, it doesn't feel like it's that hard. Because I've definitely done it a few times. I've definitely had more than one. So, maybe that's something I'll try. Maybe it'll be vaguely useful and vaguely sensible. I can do something. Pfft, who knows? Okay. So this is where the confusion starts to set in. Because, of course, I want to make sure that I have full, easy access to the rest of the farm. But again, I'm just in the caves because I'm after a mixture of stone and resources, and working my way down to try and just get more radioactive ore. It's not a particularly game-changingly difficult thing to do, but again, it's going to be useful to me. And that's kind of my main aim here, is making my life easier. Shockingly enough. I like it being easy. Life, simplicity, I'm all about that. If it's the path of least resistance, I'm very keen on those. Because I'm just very lazy. I'm not going to lie about it, because it's very bloody true. I am a very lazy man. And if I can essentially cheese my way through something and not have to do things the hard way, I am so down for that. Because I'm very, very lazy. Which I do feel a little bit bad about admitting in some space. But at the same time, it's my day job. I am lazy at work. I have figured out ways of just trying to get stuff done as efficiently as possible, which I feel is useful. It's not like I'm sitting around twiddling my thumbs. I am doing stuff all day, but it's how can I make it faster for myself? What can I do to improve my productivity? It's only because I don't like sitting around twiddling my thumbs. I find that intensely boring. So, yeah, being able to figure out what I want to do and get it done, very sensible for me at least. It feels. Oh my goodness, this floor is so infested. It's so annoying. Go away, you horrible creatures, please. Just leave. Ugh. Damn creatures everywhere. So many squids. It'd be nice if they had a better drop than just the squid ink, which, because I've got the Midnight Squid Pond, I don't really care. Because I've got a constant supply of the damn stuff. Which does sound a bit silly, but yeah, I don't need squid ink. Really. It's useful for like a couple of cooking recipes, and it's definitely one that in real life it's used in risotto, which again is something I've never cooked. It's one of the things that I would like to get a bit more into. I got into cooking quite a bit of Moroccan cuisine. So I bought a tagine and have used it a few times, and I'm not great at Moroccan food yet, but I feel that I feel like it's a good thing to have an appreciation for. In Spanish cuisine, like the risottos and stuff, like, yeah, that'd be nice to kind of get my head round. So yeah, that's going to be a game plan for the future, at least. Try to become better at that. Now, let's see, let's murderize some of these damn stones that are apparently not stones, but in fact, sneaky, evil crab creature things that need to die, which that is indeed a thing. And those damn crabs are quite annoying, understandably so, I feel, because they get in the way and they try to attack you, so they need to go away. And that's just how this rolls, I'm afraid. Okay, what else have we got over here then? Lots of ghosts. What I'm really after is, again, I need the soot sprites to murder a bunch of those, I think. I still haven't killed enough of those for Gil to give me the burglar's ring, which again is going to require me making a few more, what are they called, of the iridium bands. Because I'm going to need those to turn into... to an amalgamated ring. Because, again, that's something I need. I feel that I need and I want. Because they'll be able to give me that boost, really, in theory. For being able to get more loot out of stuff. The rings I've got are good. Like Slime Charmer plus Iridium Band, and then I've got Iridium Band plus the Phoenix Ring. But if I'm not as concerned about being knocked out, the Phoenix Band isn't as much of a boon to me. So we will see on that front. So that's going to be a later days thing by the looks of things. It really is analysing when am I going to need stuff and do I have a particular desire for them. So we'll see. Hopefully we can figure something useful out. Because, again, I want to make sure that I have the capability of getting better drops. And I think that if I've got the Burglar's Ring, then, of course, that will give me a... It does 2 rolls on the loot table. And if there are 2 rolls on that loot table, and the creatures that I'm fighting, such as things here that have... what's the word I'm looking for? The enemies that might drop the sprinkler heads, like the pressure nozzles, it'll be really nice to gain that as a bonus when I don't actually have to do anything about it. I mean, I'm just fighting them as normal, but with a 2 times likelihood of obtaining those rare and valuable materials. I nearly said ingredient. There's not really an ingredient, it's just a material. That'll make my life so much better. I'd much rather that, to be fair. Okay. Well, let's see what we can achieve here. So we've got lots of stone to work our way through here in the quarry, which is fine. Let's see. Damn stone getting in the way and being all annoying and stuff. Very, very frustrating. That's what bombs are for. Because they allow me to just get through this without actually having to do anything. And again, I'm quite lazy. So that's just how this is going to go. Righty. So let's see. What can we do in regards to this then? Can we get our way through and around here with ease? Because again, that's kind of what I'm after, is making my life as easy as possible. And I'm still debating what to actually do with the quarry area. I've seen some people turning it into honey and mead making areas, which I think is quite sweet. It sounds like a very good idea to me. Just what else could I use it for, I think is my main question. Is there anything that kind of makes sense? It's I want to try to make money out of it, and it's very mercenary sort of logic on it, but I feel that that's just how my brain works. I want to make as much money out of things as possible, and I've got to figure out what do I need to do to make that money. I don't think that's anything inherently wrong, really. But yeah, that's my jam. I want to make as much money as possible, which I think is kind of normal, right? Because do people not just like trying to make money on Stardew? Maybe some people just do it just for the giggles, whereas I'm being a bit more mercenary about it and maybe mean in that I just don't care as much about the relationships with as many of the villagers, because some of them just are infuriatingly annoying. Yeah, I've said it numerous times before. I just do not like Elliot. I just do not like him as a character. Try as I might, I just cannot get on with him. Maybe I will do eventually. Who knows? It's just right now, I think he's a prat. Which, yeah, I feel is a reasonable and legitimate feeling. Just don't like him. Oh well. That's just how this rolls. Anyway. So we're going to make some tea. That's going to be nice. Lovely stuff. Also, it's kind of interesting seeing, like, the automatic, like, default pairings. Like, you can see that, like, the game kind of wants to suggest that Sebastian and, oh, crikey, what's her name? The one with the purple hair. Why is her name escaping me? But the pair of them are supposed to almost, like, get together, and Maru and Harvey are, and it's like, okay, I kind of see where you're coming from, but do you not think it'd be kind of more interesting if that wasn't the case? And, like, Sebastian and Hayley were the default, like, pair for those two? Because that'd be kind of funny. Like, not what you'd expect. And actually, I kind of like the idea of the unexpected. But I guess it's just that very, this is what you expect sort of jam. I get it. I don't think it's, like, my logic, but my logic is weird anyway. Hey, no, it's not Hayley. It's not Emily. Why is her name still escaping me? Oh, it's going to drive me nuts, this. Abigail. There we go. I'm genuinely atrocious with names. It's one of the reasons I'm really glad I never became a teacher. Because there's no way in heck I'd be able to remember, like, my class's names without giving them post-it notes at the start of every class. I'd be like, okay, class, put your post-it notes on. Remember, your teacher's a moron. He can't remember who you are, and if you've moved seats, well, we're pretty much screwed. But I'm also just generally kind of glad I didn't become a teacher, just because of how difficult it appears to be within the English-speaking worlds to actually be a well-paid, like a reasonably well-paid enough and actually valued, respected teacher, because I don't feel that teachers get as much respect as they kind of deserve. There's a lot of parents out there who kind of just view it as my kid has to go to school, not really appreciating the fact that they are developing their child's education and knowledge base and all that. Anyway, before I go off on a rant, because that I am very prone to do, especially when it comes to education matters. So, we've got oodles of preserves again, which is great. I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be nice and valuable. What next, though? What do we do for the next swath of money? That's a very tough question. But I'm not sure of what the answer is. Well, let's stick some of the fruit we've got in here for now then, shall we? I think that's a good idea. Just get some of that fruit in, and then we can play around with it. Because that's kind of what we're after at this point, is just getting all that done. Well, money, money, money. That's kind of where we're going on this one. What next? What next? Okay, so we're going to scoot on our way through here. And try and put a bunch more stuff in ready for the next few processes. Because, again, if I have more stuff in reserve in that chest, because that's really its entire purpose, is it's the stock chest of this, the jam making. Nothing else. It's just, this is where we brew the jams and the pickles, and yes, it's genuinely my favorite part. I know I rant about how much I love pickled food regularly, so yeah, I'm going to save you that one. Okay. So, I can't think if there's much else that I can do today. It's Sunday, and there's essentially, we're going to end up ticking over into the new year. So year 3 will start pretty soon. And as I mentioned, I want to make sure that I get everything prepped and ready for the new year. So one of the things that I'm glad I've never done is I remember watching a poor person who'd never played Stardew Valley before, and they ended up hoeing all of the land, fertilizing it all, ready in like the end of fall, of the end of the winter season, so that they'd be all ready for the next year. Didn't realize that, yeah, when that doesn't stick around, that's that land is going to get overgrown to heck, because that's just what happens. I did feel very bad for that poor person having to deal with that. Oh well. Right. Let's see what else we can get on here. So we're going to try and slice our way through some more creatures, get some more stone. It's just I need it for the sake of, I say for the sake of needing it, but I do need it, unfortunately. So that's going to be a thing. Yeah. What next? That's the next question. Okay. Well, it would appear that we're getting more ladders down, which is nice and all, but so look at that, I've got 656 out of 1,000 I need. Ugh. So, again, Ginger Island's probably the best place for it, but also the mines are kind of handy for the radioactive ore, which, again, that's something I kind of need right now. And, again, kind of want. But Ginger Island is it feels like a more efficient source of it, of stone, that is, of it being, a really powerful descriptor there. I'm so good at the words. I'll stop now because I'm painfully aware I'm putting my foot in it as a general moron. But yes, okay, so we've actually got a heart event with Leo. No, I mean, for a kid who's been washed up on a beach, on an island in essentially the middle of nowhere, where his family are all dead, he's done pretty well for himself. Bless him. So I have time for the poor boy. He's tried. And yeah, he is a bit weird, but who isn't a bit odd? Poor kid. But, eventually maybe, that'd be nice to see, actually, some, like, a development in Leo's story. Then again, I've never really interacted with him much, because, again, I've not really done much in the Ginger Island, so I don't know what his heart events lead to. So it is going to be new for me to see that. So maybe I'll have to give that a go and actually see what his heart events give us. Because it might be something really sweet. I don't know. It'd be nice. But we'll see. We will see soon enough. Hopefully it is something sweet. Okay. So let's get this bit done then. What's next? Okay, so we're back on the volcano, which is why I was here for a reason. Just, to get into the volcano itself, please. And we'll cut that down and grab a coconut because, yes. Oh, that's been there a while and I didn't even notice it. It's a good job you don't need to get all of the walnuts to actually get into Mr. Key Sanctuary, because, of course, you can fish up. There's numerous extra ones. Because I would not have got into Mr. Key Sanctuary because I still haven't got the last blasted vertebrae. Which, as you can tell, is something that's really annoying me at the moment. But oh well. Sailor and V. There we go. Right. Excuse me while I murder the French language. It's a language I speak a very small amount of. So, please don't ask me to. It's not going to end well. Ah, die, you horrible little Dougie. Red Dougie, or I'm sure they've got a different name, but, you know, red horrible thingy. Go away. Be gone. Evil red creature. Leave. Okay, what else can we do here? Well, let's get ourselves more stone. I need lots of it, please. Lots and lots and lots and lots of stone, please. Need all of it. Well, it's taking its sweet time to work my way through, isn't it? It's somewhat annoying. Okay, so one of the big things that I have noticed is I do need... Well, there we go. There's the big clumps of stone that I just hadn't dealt with. It was really, breaking it down, it just seemed a lot more prudent for me to just smash it all apart with a bomb rather than mining it all, because, again, lazy. Makes more sense to me. And yeah, that's just how my brain rolls. I would rather be very lazy if I can help it. Right, so where next? Well, we're going to go up and around here, I think. I might actually end up with the 1,000, well, I think, was it 346 that I needed left or something? 344? Some amount. Beginning with 300, I think. Because, of course, you do get quite a lot of it from here. And with that 1,000 stone, again, I might just sell it back to Robin, if that's a feasible thing. I mean, look at this, Robin. You gave me a silly amount of it as a great Christmas present. I mean, believe me, I'm flipping thrilled about it still, as you can tell. Ugh. I mean, of all the things to give someone, flipping stone. Just a absolute Michael take, if you ask me. Because, yeah, very, very annoying. I know that there's, like, the tea set, which is really rare to get a hold of, and it's the present that everybody wants you to get, and it's just like, could someone please give me something that's vaguely useful? I mean, when it was Robin, it was going to be, here comes the building materials. Again, yes, I use building materials, but it's not hard for me to get it myself. I think that's the thing. Even if you'd given me like a home-cooked meal of some description, I'd be more happy with that, because it's something that's vaguely useful, I guess. But no, can't have that. That would be, you know, nice and useful. Ugh. Go away, Flame. I will beat you to death. At least I'm also getting lots of these cinder shards, because that's another thing that I really want more of. Because the cinder shards themselves, I need 100 of them to grab the cinder sap or cinder shard shoes or whatever it is, the shoes from the dwarf here in the volcano. Because that'd be nice. Nice and helpful, really. I don't know how, you know, actually useful they are, but I think they do have the best stats of any of the footwear that one can obtain in the game. So that's what I want. Now, well, that's useful. So some more cinder shards again. We're just going to keep getting those because they are nice. They are handy. They give me the bonus that I need. Just give me 100 of them. Give me more and more and more of them. I need 100. Please. That's the question. Where can I get more of them? Is there a... Can there just be a floor or like a room here? I know it's only 10 levels long, the volcano, but can I have a room that is just the shard like deposits, please? Like crazy gemstone goodies. That's my jam, please. Ah, c'est la vie. Okay, right. Well, I'm going to try and murder this dragon when he pops his head back out. I do find it funny how you've got at the top of the volcano all these apes sort of like swimming around in the lava as if it's a hot spring. It kind of alarms me in every way because, again, it doesn't make sense. I mean, unless actually the caldera on the volcano isn't actually full of lava and it's just very hot water. I mean, that's a possibility, but it's a reach, isn't it? Maybe? I don't know. Either way, it's still alarming. Because cooking oneself in lava is clearly the end game goal of these monkeys. But I've seen like the images of is it macaques in the snow in Japan, just enjoying themselves in the hot baths, and it's like, cool. I can get it. I'm definitely behind it. I like the idea of it. I've never actually been to a bath of some description, which is interesting because I've been to the city of Bath. I've never been to a bath in Bath. Not one that's like actively the baths themselves. Like, obviously, I've been to a historical one. I visited the ancient Roman ruin section of Bath. They're pretty interesting. Also, if you've ever get the opportunity to visit Bath in the United Kingdom, one of the things that I remember is from as a child, actually, when I went there as on a school trip, try drinking the water. Like, the water itself has a very high iron content. It tastes like hot blood. It's very, very weird. But that is a thing. That's genuinely a thing. Very odd, and very much a thing. But, hey, everyone's got their jam, I guess, on this one. So, yes, anyway, moving forwards. Let's deposit some more of this gubbins away. Is there anything else that I can do today? That's going to be the next question. Excuse me, I didn't mean to cough as hard there far harder than I was expecting to. Ooh. Let's see, what else can I do today? We've still got a little bit of time. Oh my goodness gracious, all of that wine. Oh yeah. Looks like I know exactly what we're doing. We are transferring some money-making, schemy goodness. Thank you, please. I'm never going to be upset about that. Lovely. Vast quantities of cash. Oh, yes. I mean, it's vast quantities of cash moving forwards. It's obviously not immediately. I've got to sell it first. But the large quantities of the starfruit wine, we've got loads of ancient fruit wine. We've just got wine. Wine for days. And that's, again, as I've said before, it's my main farm exports, even not exploits. It's my main farm export. And that is going to really probably be the main jam, isn't it? High Ridge Farm is a winery. It is booze o'clock. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We make booze here. That's our jam. Never going to be too upset about that. Because welcome to the Booze Hub. We make the alcohol. Okay, so let's quickly put some stuff away and reorganize the house itself a little bit. So we've got all this coffee, so we can get that going, because that's nice, and we like coffee. It's going to give us the buzz that we need in the morning. And that's good. What next, though? So I've got the baby over, well, in the top of the house there, which, you know, that's where babies live, in the top of the house. What next? Which, to be fair, is kind of a good question. What next is a general, sort of moment. Let's see. Well, let's go and put some stuff in the cellar. No, nothing needs to be deposited in the cellar. That's fine. Okay, well, it doesn't look like there's much else I need to do with stuff there then. So that's going to really wrap that up. Although it's the end of year 2. So we get our visit from Grandpa. So he's going to tell us how angry he is with our existence. My mango tree wasn't able to grow. And Grandpa turns up telling me off for not letting my mango tree grow in the garden. Powerful stuff. Ah, my dear boy. It's been many years since we last spoke. You were just a little boy. Do you remember? Look how far you've come. You may have forgotten me. I've been here all along. That's a bit creepy, Grandpa. Could you, like, not? You see, my body has departed this world, but my spirit will remain in Stardew Valley forever. Well, that's kind of cute, I guess. I mean, familial support and all. But whilst Grandpa tells us how proud he is of us, I will bid everyone my farewells. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please, if you do enjoy it, please do like, share, and subscribe. Do comment. I will always try to respond to them. And thank you once again for tuning in. I'll catch you next time. The Walrus Plays Stardew Valley.